R&B superstars Destiny's Child released their self-titled debut album in 1998. This was conjointly the world's initial introduction to Beyoncé Knowles. Although their last record, Destiny Fulfilled, came out in 2004, they still stay in our collective reminiscences. The group dominated the airwaves within the late 90s and early 2000s. However, plenty of drama played out behind the scenes. Drama which may have led to group action within the age of social media. As a result, there are some epic stories surrounding the creation of smashes like Independent Women and Bootylicious. These fascinating secrets are obscured by the group's overwhelming popularity and Beyoncé's ultimate rise to the top of the music world. Reading these stories, you'll see why several say the group's manager, Beyoncé's father Matthew, is to blame for the first lineup's breakup. Matthew notoriously pushed his young charges, making them work so hard they cried. He additionally nearly bankrupted the Knowles family while managing a fledgling Destiny's Child. Other little-known facts embody the ways that her mother, Tina Knowles Lawson, supported her daughter's fledgling career, and the way Latavia and Latoya learned they'd been shooed from Destiny's Child. Many theories occupy the public's interest recently. However, all that jazz has its roots within the development of Destiny's Kid. Beyoncé reportedly drove a sports car while Latoya couldn't pay rent. When Latoya Luckett and Latavia Roberson left the group, the two alleged their manager, Matthew Knowles, did not pay them their correct dues. In Becoming Beyoncé, J. Tara Borelli notes that Matthew favored his daughter over the other three members. She booked a lot of appearances and got paid plenty more, supposedly, whereas B bought a Jaguar. Latoya reportedly could not even afford to pay her telephone bill. That is nearly a line out of Bills, Bills, Bills. According to Knowles, B and Kelly did all the singing, therefore they merited a much bigger cut. Beyoncé's parents were Kelly Rowland's guardians. When Kelly Rowland was young, her mom, Doris, left her hard-drinking and verbally abusive husband, Christopher Lovett. As a result, Kelly moved in with family friends Matthew and Tina Knowles in Houston, Texas. She grew up regarded as the couple's third daughter. So much so, rumors began floating that Matthew was her real father. An actual Knowles girl, Solange, told Hello Beautiful, "Kelly Rowland really grew up with us. She moved in when she was 5, so we formed a real family. I only ever seen her as a sister. I feel adoption is a lovely thing." Tragically, Doris passed away in 2014, shortly after Kelly welcomed her first son, Titan. Matthew Knowles quit his job to manage the group. Matthew Knowles continually worked laborious hours to promote Destiny's Child, originally referred to as Girls' Time. In 1995, he left his job selling medical equipment for Xerox so he could manage the group full-time. The new venture did not have immediate success, however, putting some monetary pressure on the young Knowles family. During this point, the most financial gain came from Tina Knowles Lawson's hair salon. Beyoncé's childhood sweetheart was the inspiration behind Say My Name. Destiny's Child's mega hit Say My Name earned the group its first Grammy Award. The song numerous fans still identify with also happens to be very personal for Beyoncé. The song's lyrics are all about a cheating beau, describing one of the singer's long-term partners. Linda Locke and Beyoncé dated from their preteens till their early 20s. Surprisingly, Matthew was super strict regarding his girl dating. However, the two remained a couple until Lindell cheated on Beyoncé. According to Tara Borelli, a suspicious Beyoncé demanded he say her name aloud after they spoke on the phone to prove he wasn't cheating. Solange was almost the fourth member. When Latoya and Latavia left Destiny's Child, the group found itself with 2 open spots. The primary candidate for the open positions? Beyoncé's gifted younger sister, Solange. Back when Latoya and Latavia were still within the group, Solange stepped in as a replacement once Kelly broke her toes. Destiny's Child also sang backup for Solange on the theme song for the Walt Disney animated series The Proud Family. Once Farrah Franklin left the group, leaving just Michelle, Kelly, and Beyoncé, Matthew Knowles contemplated adding Solange to even out the group. Despite creating the rumor of a fourth member potentially joining, he kept the group as a trio for the remaining albums. Jagged Edge allegedly to blame for LaToya and Latavia getting the boot. Fellow 90s R&B group Jagged Edge had a detailed association with Destiny's Child. Twins Brandon and Brian Casey, singers in Jagged Edge, dated LaToya and Latavia during the late 90s. On an episode of Unsung, which regarded Jagged Edge, it was revealed that Matthew wasn't happy regarding this arrangement. After LaToya's mother was escorted off a tour bus, the Caseys stood up for her. Shortly after, LaToya and Latavia found themselves kicked out of the group. The group signed to Elektra Records but were later dropped. Before holding a long-lasting contract with Columbia Records in 1996, Destiny's Child quickly signed with Elektra Records. During the 90s, Elektra was successful, being host to superstars such as the successful Missy Elliott. The label then added the gifted young foursome of B, Kelly, LaToya, and Latavia within the middle of the last decade. However, in 1995, Elektra dropped the group from its role. Why? Elektra claimed the quartet was too young and underdeveloped. Their loss. After watching Say My Name, LaToya and Latavia learned they were dismissed. LaToya and Latavia were informed that they got shooed from Destiny's Child after they saw the video for Say My Name. Once new members Farrah Franklin and Michelle Williams joined, Knowles got to work promptly. The new foursome appeared in the Say My Name video. However, the clip still uses the album version of the song that uses LaToya and Latavia's voices. LaToya herself stated this still bothered her nearly 20 years later, and that she struggled with depression long after her dismissal. Michelle suffered from depression at the peak of the group's fame. As the last new member of Destiny's Child, Michelle Williams rose to fame pretty quick. Sadly, such an increase came with more downsides. Appearing on The Talk, Williams shared her non-public struggle with depression. Throughout her younger years in D.C., Williams did not acknowledge the symptoms that forced her to suffer more while not realizing it. D.C.'s vast success was solely difficult for Williams, which led her to feeling guilty for being depressed while having such a great life. She stated she even began experiencing unsafe thoughts at her darkest moments. Today, she wants to raise awareness regarding performers living with mental illness. Girls' Time lost on Star Search. B's song Flawless greatly samples a 1993 episode of Star Search, during which Girls' Time competes against rival Skeleton Crew and loses. However, the group wasn't the only act to lose this competition within the 90s. Other Star Search losers who went on to major success include Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. They fell in beneficial company, albeit they were not aware of it at the time. Also, everybody remembers Destiny's Child today. Star Search? Not as much. Designers refused to style the group, so Tina Knowles took over. Named the CFDA's fashion icon in 2016, Beyoncé gave a moving speech regarding the evolution of her style. She said, "Starting in Destiny's Child, high-end labels did not particularly want to style 4 black country ladies, and we could not afford designer dresses. My mother was rejected from many showrooms in New York. However, like my grandmother, she used her talent and her creativeness to help her children achieve their dreams." Tina Knowles Lawson, the daughter of a seamstress, designed several of Destiny's Child's most unforgettable looks over the years. Every group member's outfit was slightly but completely different, nevertheless containing unifying components that brought all 3 or 4 of them into the ensemble. Some actually look a lot more dated than others. However, they still showcase the talent and determination of a passionate master. Beyoncé's parents split following her father's affairs and substance abuse. Around 1995, Tina Knowles left her husband, reportedly due to monetary pressures that began once he left his job. Eventually, the couple reconciled, however, ultimately permanently split once more, divorcing after 33 years of marriage in 2011. In a book that details his time as Beyoncé's vocal coach, David Lee Brewer Jr. alleges Matthew Knowles battled an addiction to cocaine. He also maintained several affairs, fathering a son with a woman named Alexandra Wright, and another child, allegedly, with someone who was reported as a friend of Solange. However, Tina got through her divorce and moved on, finding love once more with the actor Richard Lawson. Matthew Knowles made the girls work until he saw tears. As manager of Destiny's Child, Matthew Knowles came down heavily on his young superstars, drilling them into superstars. He reportedly forced a young Beyoncé to run a mile while singing her songs, a style of exercise she reportedly still practices today. Although this coaching routine paid off, it came with a price. Latavia recalled Matthew made Kelly Rowland cry once during a 1997 performance. He barked, "Where were you tonight, Kelly? I watched you mess up 12 dance steps." Farrah Franklin called for a reunion in 2018. During Beyoncé's history-making performance at Coachella 2018, Destiny's Child reunited, or specifically, the final three members, Beyoncé, Kelly, and Michelle, joined forces. In response, Farrah Franklin called out her former bandmates and suggested a full Destiny's Child reunion. At one point in 2017, people correctly predicted Destiny's Child would be a part of Beyoncé's on-stage performance at the music festival. However, they overestimated who exactly would be invited.